Hi everyone, I'm April Fauché. Today we're going to make a winter cemetery arrangement. You're going to need a foam insert, some floral pliers, glue sticks, glue gun, a vase so your foam insert does not wobble around, and whatever floral arrangements you're wanting to use for your winter arrangement. Today I chose some white poinsettias. They look like they've been dusted in snow. Some frosted berries, some frosted greenery, and of course I always have the greenery to put at the bottom of the arrangement. You can put it with anything. However, I will say when you are putting things together to see what you'd like in your arrangement, when I pick something frosted, I try to go with something frosted. I put this up against the red, and this just looks like it's dust when it's up against the red poinsettias. So I decided to go ahead with the white poinsettias instead. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is start with the biggest flower. And we're going to count. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. And typically the bushes come with 5 stems when it's the larger flowers. So I'm going to snip off all 5. I'm going to put the shorter poinsettias aside and find my tallest stem, which in this case it is in the center of this bush. And I'm going to go ahead and pick this with my Still Pix machine. Don't worry if you don't have a Still Pix machine, you can always use the hot glue on the stem by itself and put it in there. But because I have a Still Pix machine, I'm going to go ahead and pick them. I always add hot glue just to give it that extra reinforcement. Go ahead and center that up. So there's my center flower. I'm going to take the other stems and I'm going to use these dots in the foam insert that are already there as a guideline for where I'm putting these other stems. I don't want these stems to be even with this flower because I want them to flare out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is kind of hold it up. I'm going to snip it here because I'm going to pick it with the machine. I'm going to make these all the same height just to make it easy. And y'all, I'm doing this video without any edits. I am new to YouTube. YouTube is something that I started after I went through a divorce. It was on a bucket list. And I'm learning all the things about technology and how to edit videos and make thumbnails. So you're getting the uncut, unfixed version of this video. You're going to go ahead and put the stem in one of those dots that's already on the foam. And when you're working with poinsettias, poinsettias tend to be flat. They don't flare out like other flowers do. This one has a leaf that's kind of on the bottom. I'm going to snip that off because if I try to pick it with the Pix machine, it's not going to hold very well. Again, I'm going to use that guide of that dot that's already on that foam insert. And you can bend these to do what you want them to do if they're not laying like you want them to lay. You're going to turn your foam around and do the same thing on the other side. So now that we have our major flowers and our large flowers, we're going to go ahead and add the Spanish moss. The reason I did not want to put the Spanish moss in from the beginning is because it's hard to stick the stems down through the Spanish moss, and it's hard to see where your center is. But now that we have our main flowers in, we can go ahead and put the Spanish moss in between the stems and around this area of the cone. That way when you put it in your cemetery vase, you don't see any of this green foam. And I'm just going to weave it in between the stems. And I'm going to wait to glue it down because as I stick stems in with hot glue, it's going to hold them on there. Just kind of lightly lay it there. It might move around while you're working on your arrangement, and that's okay. Okay, next thing we're going to do is add the frosted greenery. Go ahead and snip those. And y'all, the Spanish moss is messy. It gets everywhere. I'm probably not wearing the best sweater right now to be working with this stuff. It's going to be all over. I'm going to pick all of my stems again. I got this desk from the Goodwill and I refinished it. I knew that this was going to be a work table for me, so I'm not too worried about hot glue getting on it or scratches getting on it from the arrangements that I'm making. Okay, now that I have all of these picked, I'm going to do 4 kind of flaring out of the arrangement. And these stems are shorter than the poinsettias, so I'll probably add more greenery at the bottom with these frosted stems. There's one. I love it when I can find the stems longer, but that's not always the case. And I forgot to mention, if you are creating a cone, I use a candle holder to hold mine because they don't always fit too well to sit in a vase. So I use a candle holder to keep that together, and it'll take less stems when you're doing those. So just kind of flare these out in between your poinsettias. Okay, now I have the main ones in. I want some to flare out the side. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of put them coming out like that. And anytime you put one on one side, go ahead and go to the opposite side and do the same thing. And like I said, you can bend them whichever way you want to bend them. Gotta pick this one. Okay, now that I have those in, I'm going to add some frosted berries. And I want these to kind of flare out, but I don't want them to be too long. So I always look at it before I do it. I want them to kind of flow out. I want it to look natural. So I've got quite a bit to take off of this. I'm going to see if that works. Yep, that's a good height because once it's picked, that'll be good. So like I said, if you do one thing on one side, you want to mimic that on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and just make these the same height. And I'm going to do 4 of those. Because the other ones will be a little bit shorter. And I'm not getting exact measurements. I'm kind of eyeballing it, getting as close as I can. Don't burn yourself when you're putting these stems in the center. The glue will sometimes fall off and land on the flower and get your fingers. Okay, now I want something coming out the front as well. Truth be told, I'm trying to make this video as quickly as I can. I have puppies, and I don't know how long they're going to stay quiet. They're doing great right now. But they have me exhausted. I love them to pieces. They love the fur babies. I'm going to come to the front. And if you get it too long, you know, stems bend out in nature anyway. Just bend it a little bit. Put it where you want it. I'm going to add some shorter berries out the side. Go around, give it a good fluff. Make sure you're putting everything where you want it. Bend them. I think I need some berries over here coming out of the arrangement at the bottom. See how that Definitely needs more berries. Need some berries back here. I probably disappeared on you. Okay, before I put the other berries in, I'm going to go ahead and add the greenery at the bottom. This is what pulls the arrangement together. Right now, the arrangement doesn't have any shape. You can't really tell what's happening. But as soon as we add the greenery at the bottom, it's going to start to look like an arrangement and take shape. And whatever you do on one side, you're going to do on the other side and the front and the back. Yeah, that glue gun got me. Okay, one more full green piece, and that will pull it all together. My still picks are not wanting to come out of the machine. Okay, now's the time that you're going to go ahead and start bending your greenery how you want it to lay. And it's time to go ahead and glue down your Spanish moss. Just go around whatever's not laying on your foam. Go ahead and glue that down with your hot glue. Add some more if you need to. And if you want to, for a little extra added touch, you can add a cardinal. I think I'm going to add him to the front here of my arrangement. I consider this the front of my arrangement. You can add him on one of the branches, or you can add him on your flower. I'm going to put mine on the flower, I think. because he'll just show better up there. And that's what he looks like. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you found this video to be informative, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.